And Gary is joining us now. As you can see, he's live at Wembley, where he's commentating on the Carabao Cup final for us later this afternoon. Afternoon to you, Gary. This was, of course, a cause that cut through football rivalries. But were even you surprised by how quickly this revolution crumbled?
Yeah, I was. If you remember when we turned up on Monday Night Football Monday afternoon to have our meeting, and there was a lot of concern, me, you and Cara, and the production team thinking, Joel Glazer's come out, put his name on this, FSG are behind it. There is they've signed legal agreements. They're not going to go away easily, and that this could easily happen. And we said that we were just going to give it our all. But, last Sunday I was there, obviously, when it broke. Me and Martin were doing the game, Manchester United, Burnley. But just hearing what, Incy and Jimmy have said there, if they'd been on air last Sunday, they would have said the same things. We've all said the same things. I don't think we mind money in the game. We don't mind money in the game. We've benefited from it. But the idea that you take away fair and equal competition, the idea that it's a closed shop and that one team, Leicester, finish in the Champions League, but they can't play in the Super League, it is despicable, to use the word that Incy's just used. And I have to say, it was an attack on Leeds United, it was an attack on Everton, it was an attack on West Ham, Newcastle United, some of the greatest clubs in the history of, obviously, English football. But then I look at Jimmy there, who's obviously from Holland, and think, what about Ajax, PSV Eindhoven, Feyenoord, these unbelievable clubs? They were just left with basically the pennies, whilst the rich just went away and took £300 million every year for 23 years and created their own league. And honestly, the scariest thing is that these people are regrouping back at base. They're not going away. This is their second attempt in the last 8 months. Big Picture was an attempt to change the 14-6 voting model. That is the sacrosanct thing in this country that holds it together. That's where, to be fair, last week the Premier League clubs that were going, the 6, probably thought, we're not going to have a problem here. And they tried to change that with Big Picture. They've now come back with a second proposal. They'll come back with a third. They have to be stopped for good. They've obviously animated number 10 Downing Street. They've animated politicians. They've animated royal family. They've animated every single football fan in this country. And I think now they're going to have the work cut out because they've got an army against them.
Well, tell us what you think should happen next, Gary.
I think there has to be legislation passed through government. The government are the only people who can stop this. And that's what every single Premier League club fears, even the 14. But that is what I've been pushing for 12 months with part of another group of people led by David Bernstein for independent regulation to protect what would be the key elements of English football. That's not for anybody else to run English football. That is just to make sure that there are checks in place to stop clubs like Manchester United, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Arsenal and Tottenham doing it again, because they run English football. It's such an interesting system in this country that obviously 20-odd years ago, 30 years ago, when the Premier League was set up, we put the hands of the power in English football into the hands of the owners of the biggest clubs. That's what we did. Now, we're going to have to take it back off them. And the only people who can do that, I think, is government, and it has to happen now more than ever.
Talking about Manchester United, who we watched today, you've called for the Glazers to go because of this. Ed Woodward is going. He's the guy that's been the biggest supporter of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Let's not forget that. So what impact could it have on him and Manchester United moving forward?
Look, I love Ole to bits. And played with him for many, many years, want him to do very well at Manchester United, but this is far bigger than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and even he would accept that. Manchester United fans last week were fighting for their lives to stay in their own competition. Now, this is far bigger than any individual that, to be fair, has a job at that football club. Everybody that plays football, everybody that knows football, that loves football, know that this is wrong. And I called them imposters. The ultimate long game is to get the owners out of the club, no doubt about that. But in the short term, there has to be some protections put in place to ensure that they can't go and do what they want with football, because they want to take it away. They want to maximise the revenues, which every businessman does, but at the expense of the football fan and of fair and equal competition in England. And that's just something that just cannot happen. And Ole, he'll either keep his job through good results or he won't keep his job through good results. But this is obviously far bigger than about results. 3 points, Manchester United winning a trophy. Last week I called it, and it's severe language. It was an attempted murder of English football. And sorry doesn't wash. It's gone past sorry, because it's twice that you've done it. If you were sorry the first time with Big Picture, you wouldn't have brought back this one. So you're going to bring back another. Perez has told us Perez has told us, Laporte has told us from Barcelona, two of the biggest clubs in the world, we're coming back for you. So this lot are not going away, but they need to be stopped.